opportunity cost of not doing this. Um, to also answer your question, we've seen that women, yes, contribute about 20 trillion to worldwide spending. We don't really have the figure for sub-Saharan Africa, but if you look at your society, the role that mothers play, the role that sisters and everyone plays, you can tell that women are the ones who are spending money more than men are spending. So a part of having an active economy is essentially the money circulation in that economy, and also it's the power of spending for the economy. So if women have money, they're definitely spending more. They're definitely lifting up the manufacturing sector. They're lifting up the housing sector. It's just a direct correlation. It's simple economics. So essentially, it's the idea that if we truly do want to grow our economies and microeconomies, then women spending and women participation is a big part. We have this conversation. We have to start from land and property because 70% of land drives our economy's participation, and most of these things are pegged on land. So for me, it's a clear cut thing in terms of what women stand to do when they're openly included. Now, when I talked about what I am actively doing, I think a lot of this conversation has been in terms of getting women to stand up, in terms of getting women to be more also drive and push for their own inclusion, right? And last year, and Tosin, I think you can attest to this because I talked to you about it early on in the year. One of the things that I was struggling with as me is how when you have now the conversation about women, it's how we quickly forget that women are also in their own ecosystem. By that I mean women are dealing with a lot. Women are dealing with child losses. Women are dealing with reproductive health issues. Women are dealing with so much more things that honestly affect their participation in the corporate circle, in the economic circle, and things like that. And I think when you look at the role model kind of women, one of the things that also stands out for me is the disconnect in the sense of these women are usually so accomplished to the sense that you feel like you have to do way too much to be like them. So when you talk about the role model kind of women, people have 3 degrees, they have led 50 companies to be where they are at. And sometimes it feels like an unachievable task for the normal day-to-day women who honestly are just trying to figure out how they get into these situations. So for me, and also it's lending a voice to people who are just doing normal day-to-day things, interacting with normal day-to-day challenges and acknowledging that yes, this is part of life. But even as you go through this, we have to push the needle. So for me, what I've done for women to tell their story in a way that people can relate to. It's also a platform that I say it's telling your story afraid. So we don't need to know your name. We don't need to know the company that you work at. We don't need to know anything, but it's in understanding how are you navigating life and also doing amazing things at work. And it's essentially a podcast called Sunset Memos for Corporate Women, and we tell the stories. The other part to this podcast is also the fact that we spotlight what we call silent legends. So it's essentially acknowledging, for example, like now, the governor of Rwanda, Central Bank of Rwanda, is a woman. The head of the Johannesburg Stock Exchange is a woman. It's looking at even a very own in the property and data sector, the last CEO of Main One, who was a woman. And it's in understanding when we have these women who are not necessarily visible and who are not necessarily who just end up just doing their work and maybe are not in most of these forums. It's just understanding what's their story, how did they get to this place, and also seeing that whatever you're dealing with is not unique to you, and that yes, you can go through the motions of life and also push the needle on this. So essentially, for me, that's what I'm doing, and for me, it's because it's a clear-cut answer that as people understand more and more people are dealing with the issues that they are also facing, then you can get the courage and the motivation to also push forward for yourself. So yeah, thank you.
Fantastic, fantastic. Um, my question, my next question will be around collaboration, and I would like a few women in the house to also speak about it. It will seem
Sorry to
like
say, I'm sorry to say
yes,
I have to beg to leave.
yes.
And
We
thank you
already
so
know
much
that you
for
have a
having
flight
me.
to catch. We thank you so much for the time that you shared with us. We will have the other participants as our co-panelists after you have left. So I'm hoping that I get people to speak. Otherwise, women, you know that I have a history of just calling people out to speak because our voice must be heard. Today is International Women's Day. So if you do want to share something about anything we've spoken about today, please do a hand raise so that I can see. I am determined to ensure that at least one or two women in the audience, lend their voice to the conversation. And so please don't run away because of that. Please don't leave the meeting because of that. Our voice must be heard, and we are already, you know, beginning to train ourselves to ditch, some of the things that hold us back and have a voice in the room. So please, I'd still be waiting for that raise of hand if you want to make a contribution. Okay,
Mr.
John, one of the
Stephen,
things
there
I
are
want.
two hands. Okay, sorry. There's a hand raised, strong mass residents.
Okay, madam, please unmute your microphone. If you can, please put on your video and make your contribution. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry, I can't see the hands.
Oh,
Ada, please help me. I'm so sorry. Please go ahead.
okay. My name is NFA. Okay, so I I thank Tilda and John for what they said, and um where me I'm coming from is starting from the beginning. I
Mm,
think most of the challenges that we had to face climbing up the ladder um, would have been a lot easier from home. So from the very beginning, you are basically, I don't want to use the word brainwashed, you're basically trained that, okay, you are to um, learn how to take care of the home, take care of your husband, take care of this, take care of that. You are meant to get married to a very good rich person, depending on where your family, your type of family dynamics is, a rich husband and all that. So when I start employing people or being part of the employ employers category, I struggled with the work ethics of young ladies because that's all they think about. That's all that there is. So when you now say, okay, women should learn to own properties, should venture into businesses and so on, there's this other bit that is going to hold them back. For those that really want to, they always struggle with, okay, what will my husband say? What will I have to talk to my husband. I have to talk to my father. I have to go there. Oh, I'm not allowed to buy something this big because I'm a single woman and I, um, uh, I don't want to chase away the men. You have all these live issues that if we start from the home, we'll be able to deal with. So from the home, you have to start training, not just taking care of the home and all that, but you also have to ensure that they earn a skill from an early
mm,
age, understand finance, how to manage money, not just manage money to take care of the home, manage money to build wealth. Um, how
absolutely.
yes, work ethics. So
Mm,
when you hire some young ladies, they're just I'm just doing the job because I'm doing the job. There's no ambition. There's no ambition. There's no desire to actually become something better. So
mm,
these are the major struggles that you have in this
mm.
space that I think we should also incorporate into everything that John and Tilda had said.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so, so much. Thank you so, so much for lending your voice. One of the things that we have realized, in building out this community is that we need to continue to emphasize value for self, help women gain confidence. A lot of women have so much to give, so much to give, but that courage to put ourselves out there to be heard, a lot of us are unwilling, to just take that chance. I think that one of the things that we also do at our in our community is to help women break the biases. Sometimes we can't even identify the biases, and you can't break what you cannot identify. So all these issues around, supportive spouses, issues around, not having those mindset that, oh, if I go this big, then I will never get married. Some of those things are things that were entrenched in people's value systems from when they were young. And that's why the conversation has been elevated today to upbringing, your value system. And value system does not mean, oh, they didn't teach you not to steal or lie. Were you given the confidence to become everything that you can become? I truly, truly appreciate that. I like what you said about work ethics. We must inspire women to come to the table correct. Nobody will take us serious if we don't come with good value systems and we are not willing to put in the work. Nobody will take us seriously. So thank you, madam, for that contribution. I don't know who else has their hands raised that would like to
Okay.
have those contributions.
No one has their hands raised, but I wanted to also lend my voice to the conversation around the mentorship and how it has helped me in the industry as well. So I remember coming in to the real estate space, thinking that the rise and fall of the lawyer's job in the real estate space was just about drafting deeds of assignment. And one of the way mentorship and collaboration has helped me, because I remember there's a question you asked on how do we begin to inspire confidence and how do we begin to inspire that zeal to own wealth and to be able to do more in the girl child. So I remember that when I came in, I started thinking of, okay, how can I serve the people I work with better, which is the people in the real estate space. So I know that I had to start taking online classes. Strangely, I was just listening to classes on YouTube. I was reading books. Then I reached out to mentors like you and to other women, and which is why the WWR community is actually very important. And I remember all the programs we had that was channeled into women owning and all made me take bold steps in, okay, moving out to say, okay, let's even acquire this piece of property, let's even do this, as in, because it's brought us together with women who had done it before. And the fact that you could see other women do it, it made you realize that, oh, if they can, I can. So now it takes away that place of, while she was growing up, if she didn't have that role modeling in the home, but she's now exposed to that. So even for our workers and all of that, we daily try to expose them to this type of women, this type of training, this type of conversations, making them know that your home or where you grew up is just a small aspect of the world. The world is actually larger than it is. So another thing I have started doing is take my children on inspections every time they are on midterm break or on a long holiday. I take them to sites. I take them to see what people are doing, how people are generating money. I make them understand that how you get money is by providing value. If you see the bus driver on the road, he's providing a service for transportation. If you see the fuel attendant, they're providing a service. So you begin to have those conversations early with them and expose them to these things. That's as children. And for younger women, we begin to bring them into this type of conversations. And fortunately for me, in all of these conversations, I've been able to collaborate with women who are no longer maybe active in my own phase of motherhood, who are at the a very extended phase of motherhood. So they tend to make up for those days when I am actively needed at home, and we are able to collaborate and both all bring value to the table. So I just wanted to share that as an experience on how it has helped me in the industry.
Thank you, madam. Mr. Kitoya Adeoye is still here. It will not be good to end this meeting without hearing your voice and allowing you lend your voice to the call for accelerated action in the issues around parity. One of the things I'm most excited for is that in the last run of the Redan elections, I was so amazed at the number of women that came out to compete with the men, and the good number of them that ended up, in elective positions at the states and national levels of Redan. We are so proud of the work that you are doing in Redan, sir. Thank you so much for always inspiring and giving opportunity to the women. I would just like you to give us your one note on how you think that we can continue to accelerate action for parity, particularly in Africa. Thank you, sir. If you're still there, I yield the floor to you.
Okay, thank you, Lane colleague. I'm actually on the highway. I'm not sure the network has been on and off, but let me just continue to speak in case you are hearing me.
We can hear you, sir, loud and clear. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you. The issue of parity in Africa is something that is cultural. It has been with us for a long time, and property rights. We all know that it's easier for men to acquire property than women, and that has been with us for a long time. Access to credit and finance, is a huge challenge, even within the corporate setting. When a woman wants to access credit for big transactions, at times it's quite difficult here in Africa, and all of us, we just continue to advocate for that cultural shift. And I think that if in my own space, I'm intentional about it, now Redan is a platform for me for advocacy. As the president of that association, if I choose to be intentional about it, I think that gradually the awareness will become popular, and also in our different homes, just like many of the speakers have said today. We just have to be intentional about this thing and encourage self-esteem for our girl child, for them to understand that they have rights to so many things that are within the space for men. So we need education, we need empowerment for our girl child, and we just have to let them understand that there is nothing that they cannot achieve, especially if we go back to when Fela's mom, Rasom Kuti, decided one day that why should I not be able to drive a car in Nigeria where my siblings that are male are driving. She broke that record. And I think Rosa Parks in the US that decided not to give up her seat. So we take them through history and we let them understand that there is nothing new. They should just stand up for themselves. But we as parents, we as leaders in the society, we must continue to support that cause, that parity must be demystified, and there is no big deal, and your child have to be self-confident and they have to understand that if a man can do it, a woman can also do it. So that would be from me for now. And thank you so much
Thank
for
you very
all
much,
that you are
sir. Thank
doing
you very much,
in
sir.
WWR. God bless you
Before
all.
we let you go, I'm just going to say that every time in our community we are looking for partnerships with developers. We always push them to bring opportunities to our women, give us discounted prices. We will continue to push this, and we hope that when we come to you, you are giving us a commitment that you will always support us. You would help us drive this ambition to accelerate property ownership amongst women, that you will continue to drive equal opportunities for women in the development sector. And also holding people's hands and ensuring that there is a mentorship strategy to allow much more women, participate at the highest levels of your sector, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm doing that and I'm doing it very well. And I will
Thank
continue
you
to
so
do
much,
that.
sir. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, sir. Thank you for your
Yes,
time. It's much
we
appreciated.
can testify to that. He's doing that actively. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. There was a hand that was up when Mr. Adeoye started speaking. I can't see the hand anymore. Well, I can't remember who it was. But if you had your hand up and wanted to speak, please just unmute your microphone. We will be wrapping up, in the next 10 minutes.
Um,
Okay, please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
So
afternoon.
when Tilda was giving data, she was talking about the whole sub-Saharan of Africa. I feel like in Nigeria, we need to also create our own data sets and understand about the problems that we are facing here in our country. What are the things that women really need? Where are the challenges coming from? There are so many topics that we've tiptoed around here today and we've not really spoken about. And because of time, I would not want to go deep into that. But I think that we should look at gathering data and figuring this thing out with numbers so that when we are having conversation, we can have it backed by facts and we can have it backed by data. And I think that is super important because without data, and if we look at it just as a whole sub-Saharan Africa, that